Hello, my littles. Welcome back to Bedtime with Mama. Tonight we are going to read Rapunzel's Campout. Spring had finally arrived in Corona. The air was full of sweet-smelling flowers, the chirping of returning birds. All winter long, Rapunzel had been cooped up inside. She and her father had organized the royal ledgers. She and her mother had picked out new pieces of art for the royal gallery. And she had helped the kingdom's planners prepare for the summer festival. Now, as she made her way through the village, Rapunzel began to skip. She enjoyed being helpful, but with the weather turning warm, she wanted adventure. She was ready to get outside and do something exciting. Rapunzel was turning a corner when she crashed into an older woman. "Oh, I'm sorry," she said. "I'm so very sorry." "No need to apologize," the woman said with a smile. She was holding on to a small donkey hitched to a cart full of flowers. "I've just arrived in the village. I'm not so used to this much commotion." Rapunzel tilted her head. "You don't live here?" she asked. The woman shook her head. "I live wherever my feet take me," she explained. "My roof is the stars and my floor is the green grass." As Rapunzel watched the woman go on her way, she had an idea. Sleeping under the stars sounded just like the sort of grand adventure she was looking for. Rapunzel couldn't wait to invite her friends and family. She was sure they would be as excited as she was. There was just one problem. No one could go with her. Rapunzel's parents were busy planning a royal dinner. "Have fun, dear," the queen said as she looked over the invitations. "Be careful of wild animals," said the king, studying the ice sculpture the royal carver had created. Eugene was busy too. He was getting ready for a joust. "Sorry, Rapunzel," he said. "I need all the practice I can get." Eugene let out a shout as the horse spooked and jumped to the side, nearly tossing him to the ground. Regaining control, he added, "But be on the lookout for bears. I hear they're hungry this time of year." Rapunzel sighed. At least she had her trusty friend Pascal to keep her company. "We'll have a good time, just the two of us, right?" Pascal blinked with his big round eyes and flicked out his long tongue. Rapunzel took that as a yes. "Come on," she said. "Let's go get some food." Rapunzel and Pascal headed to the royal kitchen to pack a basket of food. Rapunzel thought a bit of cheese, a loaf of bread, and some fruit would be just right. Just as she was reaching for the bread, the chef came in, eager to help the princess. She insisted on packing the basket herself. By the time Rapunzel left the kitchen, she had 2 baskets overflowing with food she knew she would never eat. Next, Rapunzel wanted to pack a small bag, but when she got to her room, she found her mother's maid putting away the laundry. Before she knew it, Rapunzel had 2 small bags and a trunk full of dresses. "But I'm just going for one night," she protested as the maid closed the trunk. "I won't need any of these." The maid just shook her head and ordered a valet to take everything downstairs. Finally, her cart was loaded with bags. Rapunzel set off. "We'd better get moving, Pascal," she told the chameleon. "We need to find a place to set up camp before it gets dark." As Rapunzel drove the cart through the countryside, she swiveled her head left and then right. At last, she came along a large patch of clear ground beside a stream. Branches from a large willow tree provided just enough shade, and the trunk would be a good place to rest her back. It was perfect. Rapunzel wasted no time. She unhooked the horse from the wagon and then set about collecting firewood. In no time, she had a pile of branches. Rapunzel stacked the branches in a circle. Then, rubbing 2 pieces of wood together, she got a small fire going. It was just big enough to cook some food and keep her warm. Rapunzel looked at the baskets of food the chef had prepared. Then she reached into her bag and pulled out a net and marched to the stream. Soon she had caught 3 fish for dinner. Rapunzel smiled. She was making dinner herself, which would be more satisfying than just eating what the chef had sent with her. As the sun set, Rapunzel prepared her fish and cooked them over the fire. She had just taken her first bite when she heard a rustling noise behind her. Rapunzel jumped to her feet, her father's warning echoing in her mind. She heard the noise again. Taking a deep breath, Rapunzel stepped away from the campfire. The sound grew louder. It was coming from behind a large bush. Very carefully, Rapunzel walked up to the bush and peered through the branches. Her eyes narrowed, her nostrils flared, and then she burst out laughing. It was nothing but a small gray squirrel. Now, don't feel silly. Don't I feel silly? Rapunzel said to Pascal. Pascal nodded. Then he blinked 3 times. I know, Rapunzel answered. It was just a squirrel, but it could have been a bear. I need to be better prepared. Rapunzel knew just what to do. She grabbed a shovel and dug a large hole behind her camp. Then she covered it up with several green and brown dresses from her trunk. Next, she needed bait. Digging through the chef's basket, she pulled out a slab of meat. Using her net, she tied the meat to a tree branch hanging above the hole. If any animal tried to grab the meat, it would fall into the hole. Feeling much better, Rapunzel went back to relaxing by the fire. Then she heard a loud thud and a loud groan. Something had fallen into her trap. Running over, Rapunzel prepared herself to find a bear, but to her surprise, she found Eugene. He lay at the bottom of the hole, covered in dirt. Eugene, what are you doing here? Rapunzel asked. I came to surprise you, Eugene answered, but I'm the one who got surprised. Laughing, Rapunzel helped Eugene out of the hole. Sorry, but you were the one who told me about bears, she said, smiling. I should have known you would be fine on your own, Eugene said. Rapunzel nodded. I am, she agreed, but I'm glad that you're here. A camping trip is always more fun when you have stories to share, and after today, we'll have plenty of those. The end. I hope you enjoyed that story as much as I did. Have you ever been camping? Was it fun? Did you see any bears? I've gone camping about 4 times or 5 times maybe. And one time I saw 3 bears, but it was a mama and her 2 babies, and they minded their business. They were very cute though. Come back tomorrow night and we'll read another story together. Sweet dreams, my loves.